The question, what are some of the worst ways your employer keeps you from being productive? There are probably many things that an employer can do to stifle productivity, but what nags at me is a failure in trust. I have worked for primarily large corporations which have reams of policies and procedures and guides to ensure conformity and to produce a like product. These written words are supposed to be studied and serve as a reference to solve problems that may arise. An internal auditor once told me that auditing against procedures is the best gotcha there is. She said that everyone keeps their binders of procedures in the bookshelf and rarely, if ever, open them. I asked her how often she refers to her procedures. She smiled and said, rarely, if ever. It is a running joke. They don't trust that we can figure stuff out, so they try to tell us how to figure stuff out. Once I reached the position of heading up a department, I decided to experiment a little. I picked a subject and wrote a policy governing that subject. In other words, what is it we are trying to achieve? But I wrote it in simple English woven in with examples of how actually one tries to achieve the same thing in everyday life. Then I wrote 3 procures governing particulars within the policy. Except instead of detailing how to do, I emphasized the necessity of why needed to be accomplished again in simple English and written in a light-hearted way. I did not explain how to complete the activity, but explained the results needed with various examples of how it could be done. In other words, explore options. I handed this policy and procedures out to the department and asked them to grade the documents as actually something they would use and provide comments as necessary. It was an overwhelming success. Simple: trust in the employee. Point them in the correct direction and allow them to use their initiative and imagination to come up with the solution. Quit telling them how to do everything. With the blessing of the auditing group, utilizing loopholes in existing procedures, I had the group write a new set of policies and procedures using what I had written as a template. Yeah, I had to do a lot of rewrites, but we came up with something I was pretty proud of. The last I heard, the department was still utilizing them.